I guarantee you that by the end of this video, you will understand the difference between you and a huge company stealing all your customers. And most importantly, how to scale and how to start taking your customers back. We've scaled small businesses like yours by figuring out what's wrong in their advertising, and we always found the same thing. Your company doesn't feel safe. So ask yourself, when I'm in the car and I'm looking at what to eat on my map, and the option is your restaurant or the McDonald's right next to you, which do you think most people are going to choose? This isn't just about the food industry, but about any company in general because of this core principle. People go with what's safe. And the truth is you don't, and you can't feel safe because what your messaging is telling the customer is that exactly. But why? You make an effort to spend on advertising, or at least you think your advertising is actually good, but there's a problem. There's inconsistency in your messaging, and it's destroying your brand. And that's the most important principle. Your messaging needs to convey a consistent message. But every time you put an advertisement out, it's completely different than the one before. Industry research suggests that the consistent brand presentation can increase revenue by about 23%, primarily by improving recognition and recall. That's because when you are consistent, safety actually arrives. But an issue we found is that a lot of companies just don't know how to be consistent. Consistency is a general principle that travels to every realm of brand awareness in the marketing space. What that means is that when I look at your media, I should be able to know it's you. On YouTube, I should be able to tell who I'm watching just by their thumbnail. And when I see a McDonald's ad, I know it's McDonald's. So ask yourself, how do I know that? It's the consistency of elements. They use the same fonts, the same colors, and the same feelings. But compare that with your advertisements. Every time you put something out, it's a completely new personality of a brand that nobody even knows. So what happens is your advertising serves no purpose. You remain unknown and unseen. And every time people are presented with the option of you and your competitor, they don't pick you. So if you are putting out tons of videos on advertising, it's better to keep them minimal. And before you continue, ask yourself these two questions, which will frame the rest of this video. Can the customer actually know that my company is the one putting out these ads? And does my advertising actually create that awareness to my brand? Let's address the first question. First, at its core, your brand should have a feeling it wants to convey. Let's use McDonald's as an example. It conveys happiness, pleasure, and love.
I'm loving it. Is this the place to eat? Since I don't cook, I'll just rock to the beat. I'm loving it.
Everything McDonald's produces in terms of media is directly flowing from that core thesis. All their ads are about happy people eating food. So ask yourself, what feeling does your brand convey? Suppose the chosen feeling is, let's say, warmth or comfort. Every advertising decision now becomes constrained by that anchor. Every piece is directed by soft lighting, inviting tones, or intimate compositions. But when you deviate from that, it's harder for the customer to actually resonate with your company. The feeling that they had developed has now been cut off from their original perception. Industry research from Lucid Press found that consistent brand presentation can increase revenue up to 23%. The primary mechanism is not creativity or persuasion and strength, but improved recognition and cognitive strain. All the fonts and tones should be similar to increase the returns on this effect. Now the second question, does my advertising actually create awareness to my brand? When you're driving down the freeway, you don't notice it, but you're at a huge disadvantage. Huge billboards are already presenting big companies and your competitors to tons of millions of people daily. You might not think that's a big deal, but clients are already warmed up to your competitor. Meanwhile, your clients are cold to you. What you want your advertising to do is not only convey the same tone and repeatability to your customer, but also make them aware of you in the first place. And that's where consistency actually matters. Let's say you pay to have advertisements roll out and they're completely different from each other. Basically, they're practically useless because all you've done is create confusion. Studies in brand recognition show that visual consistency significantly improves recall. When advertisements vary in tone and structure, recall rates can decline by 30 to 50%. So 50% of people that you rolled your first ad to are going to forget if you have an inconsistent message on the second one, simply because their brains fail to recognize and connect them as the same entity. So what you want in those advertisements is to convey the same exact message and the same personality. That way, people will start warming up to you and have an idea who you actually are before they even buy anything from you. Large brands rarely improve their visual language. They standardize it. So every ad you put out consistently reinforce the same feeling through that visual language. Keep promising the same things. Keep the same emotional tone for every campaign. And by the time the customer comes to choice, when they are actually in the market for whatever you're selling, they will be warm to the point where they're willing to give you a chance. And here's when conversion is not as important to what comes next. When the customer buys your product or service, they need to be given the same exact feeling that was promised. McDonald's does this by the way they lay out their entire restaurant and package their food. Everywhere, there's a smile. There's a notion of enjoyment or pleasure. Think about the Happy Meal, there's a smile on it. Everywhere on the walls, you'll see a smile, happiness. That's exactly what they're trying to go for. And you need to do the exact same, because that disconnect is very dangerous when you don't. Behavioral economics shows that the losses weigh roughly twice as heavily as equivalent gains. When experience contradicts expectation, the psychological damage significantly exceeds the positive effect of meeting those expectations. So when the disconnect enters their mind, the doubt follows. And once doubt enters perception, the customers start reassessing everything, not just the isolated experience, but the repeatability and reliability of the brand itself. Research in consumer experience consistently shows that dissatisfied customers are substantially more likely to share their experiences than satisfied ones. And those negative experiences spread way faster, persist longer, and they will destroy your brand if you don't do anything to stop them. So the best advice I can give you right now is make sure that the connection satisfies your customer. And if you've noticed, consistency extends beyond advertising. Consistency itself is simply the visible outcome of something deeper, the core thesis of your brand, the underlying feeling that I was telling you about at the beginning of the video. And at Pink Studios, that's exactly what we do. Not just producing advertisements, but helping businesses clarify who they are at a perceptual level, and building systems that allow the market to recognize, understand, and remember them. Because advertising and branding is about aligning everything to that core thesis. If you'd like to build advertising that compounds, reach out to Pink Studios or visit pinkstudiocentral.com. Thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable, subscribe for weekly insights on marketing, branding, and advertising.